Grey's Anatomy is back. It's another great episode, and we are buzzing all about it next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Let's listen to this song for just a second. It's so good. Grey's Anatomy is back. I'm your host, Kelly. We've got another full panel once again.
Yes.
I love it.
I feel like I just got lost in a little trance.
Yeah,
It's so good. This song is amazing.
It's
very
so
tranquil.
emotional.
Yes. Sorry by the Kilo. If
Yes.
anybody out there wants to know, it's so good.
Yes, it's amazing. Well, welcome back with us. We've got Back Where You Belong as the episode for tonight, and there was a lot of reunions and coming homes, and it was just a really emotional episode, I feel.
I feel the same way. I felt definitely that it was an emotional episode. I feel like we haven't had one of the emotional episodes in a long time. Even though that kid died in the other episode, I feel like I wasn't that emotionally attached, but this one hit home for me.
You're just a monster.
I know, I'm sorry, but this one did, you guys.
Okay, well, make sure, as always, to please always follow us on social media. You guys can follow AfterBuzz TV, and you can follow me at Kelly with an IE079.
Yes, and you can follow me at Shannon Bobo everywhere, and I'll follow back.
Hey everybody, I'm Timothy Michael. You can follow me at I am Timothy Mike.
And I'm Lynneisha, and you can follow me at Lynneisha_33.
And now that we've had our little reunion,
Yes.
let's talk about this. Okay, we saw Amelia. Amelia's back at the house.
Yes.
So the episode opens and the band is back together, according to Maggie.
Yeah.
So everyone's at the house and Alex.
For the kids.
Except we don't ever see the kids. Meredith's home all day and no kids.
Seriously though. I actually like the title of the episode, Back to Where You Belong, because it does speak on so many different levels, and Amelia going back to Meredith's house is just one of them. And we brought up her sleeping on Stephanie's couch for the longest time. Her last I'm like, why don't you just go back to Meredith's
your family,
house?
yeah.
And I'm glad that when she showed up, that made me happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I love that Alex was like, get out of my bed. A bed means you live here and the couch is crashing.
Right.
So true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alex, he always gets kicked out. Like, anyone that comes in the house when he's living there, it's like, oh, take Alex's room.
That's true.
Or nothing. I still don't feel sorry for him, Mr. Get Off Scotch-Free.
Speaking of getting off scot-free, I'm sorry, I was very, very upset this entire episode that nothing was done to mimic or addressed or anything about awful behavior from last episode.
Raggedy.
I just think that it's just one of those things about, it's a hospital. No. These things happen, you guys. And, she made a bad decision, and that's what happened. And, she feels bad enough about it as it is.
Mm-hmm. And she's getting a girl out of it. It looks like she's getting Arizona.
Right? So,
Gross.
And those things may happen.
I knew that was going to happen, though.
Yeah.
Those things may happen, but it's how she handled it or her lack of handling it.
And the fact that it's just swept under the rug, like it's all okay. And that's what bothers me the most about it. And I would love to see Arizona with someone else. I love her character. I think she's so great, but this pairing is just way too obvious and just kind of lame to me. I just don't like it.
It was too cute, though. I like the way they were flirty. I like how cute. I mean, because they opened up, they were just like, I thought it was. I mean, I'm still not a fan of Minnick, but I just want Arizona to get some. Sorry.
I'm with Shannon. I mean, I disagree with you on Kelly on so many levels. I mean, I feel like her and Minnick do pair really well together, and I feel like Minnick going back into the hospital and pretending like nothing was wrong, as you guys so eloquently put it, was more for I think Stephanie's sake, because if she went in there thinking and being like this was so wrong, then that would have just like lashed back on Stephanie.
And that part I understand. Saving face in front of your residents and in front of your subordinates, okay. But the fact that there was nothing addressed on the upper levels is what is not okay with me.
Okay.
Because I really feel like the way they were treating Weber, had it been him that had been in a situation similar where they felt like he dropped the ball with one of them, Minnick would have been all over his butt about it and would have made an example out of him. And that's where I feel like there's a double standard and it's not fair. Why does it get to be okay that she gets to do that and completely drop the ball with teaching and still be in that position and there's no reprimand whatsoever?
Right.
Yeah. Like, that's what I don't like.
There's still next week. We could still. I don't think it's a lost cause yet. I think it is possible for them to mention it at some other point.
Possibly. They could bring it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't addressed properly. You're correct about
Right,
that.
and they may bring it back, and it may flash back to something that we didn't see, because I know that they've done that in the past before, but I just didn't like the way that they made, a bad situation okay, and that was just very disappointing to me.
You won me over. You got it.
She has a good point. I'm like, I couldn't even deny it. I was like,
No,
yeah,
I
she's
can't.
right.
She
They
won.
could have just said something. And Stephanie, like, the way it was handled with Stephanie, too, like, she was just right back in, like, nothing ever happened. And it's like, you guys killed a 9-year-old boy last week. Like, what's the deal?
The only thing with that, Joe did ask her, it's a kid, are you okay?
Right.
Ooh,
And
Richard
she's
Gardner is strong. I
I
hate Minnick. I hate Minnick.
Richard.
Wow,
I'm with you,
Richard Gardner.
I'm with
Wow.
you, too.
Sahara's
Yeah.
like, me too. I'm like, I don't hate Minnick because I know
sorry, I can't
Arizona.
get
I
it.
want Arizona to have a relationship. Sorry.
Yeah.
She
And
can
I
have
think it could
one.
be
Just
different.
not with her.
If it was different circumstances, maybe, but I just feel like it is a little slimy, and that's what I
Yeah.
don't like
Do you
about
guys
it.
want
It's
Arizona back
messy.
with Murphy again?
No. See?
Somebody
I-
brand new.
Right.
Can't she date somebody who's not at the hospital?
I like Minnick.
That's
I don't
true.
know why.
Even
I
though
like
bartender.
Minnick.
I like
Yeah.
her when Weber was
Why don't they
her.
go to the bar anymore? They don't
That's
go to
true. When
like a
Weber was her
bar or something.
wingman,
Yeah.
that was cute.
I like that.
That was
too.
really
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
That was very, very cute. One of we've got someone. Stephanie likes Minnick as a teacher. Oh, that might be good. Because there's been speculation that Stephanie's going to leave the show. So a Grace fan is telling us that maybe if Liza gets let go, she takes Stephanie with her to another hospital.
Oh, that's a good
And that's the
possibility.
that could
That's
happen.
interesting.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't think Minnick's gonna go anywhere. I don't think that they would introduce a character like this just to take them away
And
from
it's
Arizona.
that strong,
Arizona's,
too.
and
Yeah.
Arizona's lost too many people.
I know.
At this point, I know you
She
guys don't
lost
like
her
but-
legs. She lost her women.
Right.
It's
She
like,
almost
give
lost
her
her kid.
Yes.
Like, let's chill out.
I feel between her and Owen, give Owen a
Yes.
kid and
Please,
give
give
Owen
Owen a
a
kid.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because he was so
agreed.
concerned about Joe. I'm like, he's so caring.
He's very caring.
Give Owen a baby.
I know.
Come on,
Give him
Shonda.
Gray's baby. She's not taking care of him.
Taking care of him.
But I don't know. Like, speaking of Owen, I was really surprised that he kind of was the one to comfort Joe and all that. I feel like that might be a little something.
No,
I don't know.
don't say
kinda-
it. Don't
say it.
No.
No.
I have to
Don't
be
even
honest.
put it in the universe, Kelly.
I had
felt like that
It
too.
gave
No.
it
Then I
to
was
me.
like,
I don't
You shut up too,
know.
Lynneisha.
But then I'm like, we can't.
No,
think
that's
that every
Gray's
time someone
man.
has a
That's like her
moment,
dad.
That's
He's like
so-
old to be her dad. You guys know. That's
I don't
awful.
know.
Well, Danny's so popular right now.
I mean, no judgments to
Daddy
everybody out there who
issues,
has, like,
That is
older
Riggs
significant
is
others.
Gray's man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because she also had a moment with Maggie that towards the end. So,
Yeah.
but Gray understands him, and that's what
Yes.
their connection. They have a really true, like almost like karmic thing that the soul
And-
connection that her and Riggs, Gray and Riggs has. That I can see them. They're gonna get together. That's
They
what,
are.
I mean, I know it's
I
too
think I'm
early for
finally on that
predictions.
train now.
I've always loved it. That's always I love their banter. I always thought it was great. But it was interesting how I think now Maggie gets it. Because her comment to her was like, you get
each
it.
other, yeah.
You get him.
So maybe
that
she'll
can kind
calm
of-
down
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're meant to be together.
But how do you think Maggie's gonna feel when she finds out? Because you know it's Grey's Anatomy. You know she's gonna find out when she finds out that Meredith was with Riggs while she had a crush on him.
she'll get over it.
I don't
She'll
think
be
so-
mad.
I
She'll
don't
not
think
right
she's
away.
mad
I
for a
think
while.
she's gonna be mad because it's the rejection and nobody likes it and it's her sister and it's gonna go to
Yeah.
the, oh, you're my sister, why didn't you tell me thing, and then we're gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
she'll be upset for a little
I don't know.
while.
I wonder, but I wonder if if they're gonna take it back there.
Maybe we could soften the cushion by getting Maggie a man, and then that's why she's like, I don't even care.
right.
She's like, what?
I ain't even thinking about
I
you.
felt like it was very awkward when she was looking at Riggs when he was having his moment. It was like she wanted to be like, "Oh, are you?" Okay?
Well, she doesn't connect
It
with
was like
him.
he wasn't there. He was like
Yeah.
off in some like having.
Because there's no connection.
Yeah,
Well,
There's
not,
no
I mean,
connection
not only
between
whether
the
he
two of
wasn't
them.
there, like, just because it's Maggie, but emotionally, this case took a toll on him, and he just wasn't there. Going
That's
back to Joe and Owen really quick. I'm glad that they
Joan, we don't want
Joan. Stop it. Thank you.
No, we don't want Joan.
I'm just saying, I kind of felt a little bit of a Joan might
No.
happen.
Thank
No.
you to Zolani for that. We are stealing it. Going back to Joan really quick, I'm actually really glad that they brought something else to Owen instead of him being like, oh Amelia, oh Amelia, oh Amelia.
Right.
I'm glad they gave him something else. And we talked about it, I think, last episode or 2 episodes ago, that Joe doesn't really have anybody to,
Right.
rely on other than when it was Callie. And I feel like maybe Owen could really be there for her.
Which I think
true.
would be awesome to see a dynamic that is not romantic
Yes.
between
That'd be good.
an attending and a
And she
resident.
needs that too, Joe, just to, in order to trust men and everything.
Right.
Sahara, that's strong. Joe ruins people. Wow. I like her as a character, but she with men.
No,
and,
but I mean, I'm not a big fan, but I don't know
wow,
if
she
she
ruins
Right.
people. Joe ruins people. That's
Oh,
pretty strong,
goodness.
Sahara. But I mean, maybe she needs a non-romantic relationship with a man that, and she almost had that with DeLuca, except
Yeah,
until
but
they kind of had like the
Luca has
dynamic.
I think he has a thing for her.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
that doesn't
I agree
really
with that.
count,
So,
yeah.
but I like the way Owen got rid of the guy for her, and that was
Yeah.
she needed a man to stand up. And this episode was really about when it says back where you belong, Joe being belonging in her power, because in a way she got her power.
That's good.
Yeah,
It was
that's
like
true,
a lot of projection going on with that with the dad, the
Yes.
kidney dad. Lots of projection going on for Joe, but I mean she really stood in her power.
Yeah.
I feel.
She did.
Well,
Yeah.
and let's talk about that. Let's just kind of, just giving reference to it. We have a patient scenario where it's a son and mother, and the son needs a new kidney. The mother is going to graciously donate hers, and then the dad shows up, and we find out there's all this animosity, and there was like domestic abuse and all this stuff going on, and they're really, really freaked out about him being there, and it turns into a very dramatic situation. And then of course, because it's Grey's Anatomy, we can't have just a nice peaceful surgery after
Right.
the drama that
No.
they get into going in. No, it has to be
drama.
oh my god, and the mother's kidney dies, and now they
Yeah.
both need a kidney. What are we gonna do? And there's just like what I feel like is like a 45-minute debate. How does this kidney live that
Right.
long?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it miraculously
shouldn't
did.
the kidney bean.
I know, but I mean, the dad. How do you guys feel about the dad wanting to step up? Are you on Joe's side about it, or how
Yes.
do you
I
feel
am.
like
And
that?
like she
Yes, I
said,
love
this
the way
is
she
the
handles
least you
that.
can do. Right. Like, you're not the hero here.
And
Yeah.
you're an
You're not coming
anonymous
in to save
donor.
the day. This is the least you could do for everything you've put them through so far. Then yes.
You don't get to be the hero. I mean, she said something along those lines. I really watched her. I feel like she got her woman.
I agree
like her,
with you.
She wasn't a little girl. She wasn't
Right,
poor
she
me,
got
little
that
Joe.
back.
Remember, for a while we thought that she was younger than she was. We was
Right.
we're like, is she 23, 24? I'm like, no, she has to be
She's
like at
almost
least knocking on
30.
30.
Yeah.
So it's like because she's so poor me, help me.
Yeah.
But today I really felt the power of her saying like the way she got in his space. I was like, oh, she was like beating him up the way she was beat up in a way,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
She was in his face.
She was in
Yes.
his face.
Yeah.
Like how he got in her face, she was right back in his face. Like
She
you
sure
are
did.
not going to intimidate me. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
bringing
I did like that.
Yeah, me too.
I was
Bringing it
proud of
back
her.
to the title episode, Back Where You Belong, I feel like not only is it what you said with Joe getting back her power, but it's also really haunting for Joe, because back where she belongs is with her ex-husband who used to beat her. So I just feel like, she didn't want to go back there. She fought so hard to get away from him, and now here this guy comes back in, and he reminds her of all the
Yeah.
things that she's run from, and now she's got to face it in some level.
Yeah, well, she belongs in her power.
Yes, no,
So
I
maybe
understand that.
it's
Yeah.
back to where it was before the husband.
Right.
So
Okay.
that could be
Right.
it. To where it was where she was probably
Exactly.
at that good place, and she meets this guy who kind of takes her on this tailspin, and then she gets in a really bad situation. So maybe that's her back where it's like
Yeah.
going back even before him.
Yeah.
And now this is what she would do if she was standing in front
Yeah.
of him.
Right.
So
Because
maybe
before
that's
all
how it
this
goes.
with
Projection.
Karev and
Yeah, for
DeLuca,
sure.
yeah, she was tough. She was kind of like Joe, the tough girl before that. And then I think everything that happened with Karev and DeLuca, that fight just kind of took her back to that place. And I guess it took her a little bit of time to get out
Oh,
of it.
she was playing the victim before that, though. She's
I mean,
always been kind of like
sometimes
poor
she-
me, like. That's the feel I've always had of
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes she would show a little toughness from like
Right.
where she came from. She would have that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of both, but then
Victim.
Yeah, but then now the victim part just overcame.
Right.
And
And Grace Fan is saying it reminds of how Alex dealt with his father and all that back in,
Yes,
back
when his dad was
years
dying
ago.
of cirrhosis.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's true too. Like, and there's a lot of similarities between them, which I think is why they got along so well in the first place. But they also have so much baggage on each
Yeah.
side, which is sometimes kind of hard to come out of when you're both dealing with so much and having to
Absolutely.
bring that together.
I gotta say, today's show was very well written because everything kind of like went back to where you belong. Like even the pacemaker, the young lady with the pacemaker, they found her home, they found her family again,
and everything. Yeah.
They thought that she was buried, and we got to know and understand a little bit more about mental illness and like what it does to people and what it does to family.
Yeah.
You even noticed something during one of the commercial breaks. Remember?
Oh yeah, just because I was gonna shout it out later on in the episode, but just putting it back out there, this episode, like you said, did have a lot to do with mental health, and if anybody out there or is or knows anybody who's struggling with mental health, you can go to mentalhealth.gov or NAMI.org to seek help or to use that as a resource, because mental health, like they said in this episode, is just a very difficult disease, and people suffer from it, and it's not just the person who has it; it's their family as well. So. If you know anybody, go to those resources, and that will really help you out.
Exactly. And I like, I don't even know Maggie's real life character, what her name is in real life, but she actually did a commercial, like publicizing that as well, and I thought that was the PSA for it too.
I think her name is Kelly.
Kelly. That's what sounds like. I don't know. I just know them as Maggie. That's why I'm scared when I meet them. I'll just be calling them by there. I'm like, DeLuca.
Yeah. Oh, we have a new viewer. So hello.
Yes.
What is it? Ryan Ninja Steel
Yes.
Thomas? Is that your whole name?
Nice to meet you too.
Very nice to meet you too. And Sarah McCluskey. Hello to you. What I think is really cool about them kind of they used to do it a lot more in past seasons, is where they would kind of focus more on things like this. So I'm glad that they're kind of coming back to it and really going into trauma and things that people really deal with. Because I mean, how would you feel if you thought your loved one was not alive anymore and you have a funeral and you kind of like do all these things? Like, how do you, like, that has to be horrible. And that was very interesting about the way that Maggie reacted to that situation versus the way that Riggs did.
Yes, because Riggs, Grace fan said earlier, we almost got like a foretelling that perhaps Megan is still alive.
Right.
That's what Grace fan said earlier.
Yeah.
I wrote it. We were watching Grace fan, but we hadn't gotten to it yet. But we were looking. I don't even know if Grace fan is still there. But that's what.
I mean, maybe, because I don't, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, all of you out there too, but I don't know if we know if they actually ever found her after that accident. I don't believe that they did.
They said that she died in a helicopter crash, but
I don't know if they ever actually found the body, but I don't really remember that specific detail.
Yeah.
But it could be maybe that's why it hit him so hard too, because they did a search, didn't find her, and
just doesn't know.
She could still be like out there somewhere.
And what Gray mentioned earlier about she said for one day she didn't know if he was alive or not, so she didn't know where he was. She just didn't know any answers.
Yeah.
So. I mean,
and that's the way he lives his life
every day, not knowing.
He just still doesn't know.
That's just gotta be.
And his
so
reaction
terrible.
when Maggie was like, "I just don't understand. I don't get it." He's like, you could see it in his face, like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" You know.
Yeah.
That was a total disconnect there for the two of them. So that.
Yeah, Grace fan is like, "I'm still here." Like, but thanks for that plug. Like, that was a good little.
Yeah. Oh, was it Owen that stopped the search?
Was it?
It's possible. I think that's why they
started
fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, that would make sense too. That would make logical sense.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Sahara.
Yeah. But even the way Riggs kind of explained it to Maggie was like, they moved on. They buried an empty box. They went and had lattes. Like, while their daughter was out, alone and in pain and all of this. Is like, they shouldn't forgive themselves for that. Imagine, like, they hate themselves for it, as they should. And it's just.
Oh, he was very real about that. Yeah. You could tell that he carries the burden of her every day.
Yeah,
that's the first time I ever saw him. Because usually he's just kind of like, "Hey, I'm Riggs.
I'm
flirty
him, like,
and I'm
vulnerable
cute."
like that.
Yeah, but he was very vulnerable, and it was kind of like a sweet side to watch unfold there. It was very beautiful. On a side note, I thought that was kind of cute the way Jackson came at Kepner in the beginning when he was like, "Oh yeah, like you gonna steal her job too?" When Bailey went away for a minute,
yes,
that was
like,
adorable.
Avery is still throwing shots at April.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cute.
And I don't know how I feel about it if I feel like it's a betrayal for her to do that. I mean, everything goes on, right? So if it wasn't her, it'd be someone else.
Exactly.
So why not have someone
in the family
that you trust?
Back to where you belong. Maybe that's where she belongs. Who knows?
Yeah. But I mean, luckily we didn't have No one died this episode,
No,
right?
no one died.
No one died.
No one died.
Yeah.
We
They just
actually
woke
had
up.
some nice tie-ins. I mean, like
I thought it was very
kind of
beautiful.
stories.
That's why I think this episode was very well written. It was so beautiful. It was like the grays from the beginning that I was like, Dr.
Yeah.
McDreamy. It kind of, I just felt like that connection to it again. I was like,
Yeah, feel
wow,
that
like
old
okay.
feeling back
Yeah,
and
it's like that
forth.
old, like well written. I mean, it was I know you guys don't like Arizona and Minnick together. I know it was, but like,
I do.
I do too. I personally do too.
Share
We're 2 and 2. Yeah, but I almost teared up a little bit when the schizophrenic
Claire.
patient Claire,
Yeah.
when she said mom, when she said, I was like, I'm gonna cry, and then the dad said Claire Bear, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose
I know.
it
I
right now.
almost cried as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Such a
it
beautiful
was-
tie-in.
Yeah, and it's just like the message there is really nice and powerful. And Sarah McCluskey is saying that this episode really spoke to her because she is affected by mental illness, and to be able to focus on something like that and kind of see what people go through to kind of overcome that.
Thank you for sharing that, Sarah.
Yes,
Thank you,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Because it
Thank
takes
you.
a lot for
It
somebody
does.
who
Yeah.
suffers from any kind of mental illness to come out and say that, especially in a YouTube chat room, girl. We understand.
Girl,
There-
yes.
there are harsh
Yeah.
out there, but we give you props.
Yes.
Definitely.
We are here
We
for you, my
appreciate
love,
that.
and
And thanks for being here with us. Too,
yeah,
and
thank
talk
you for
about
that.
this.
Everybody in the
Especially-
chat room, thank you guys for that. And
And thank
give
you.
a shout out to Sarah because she's amazing.
Yeah,
And I like-
people
and
don't like
Grace-
to talk about
No,
that.
they don't.
Like
No.
mental illness is like a
No.
hush hush thing. So thank you again, Sarah. For
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
I'm
a
glad
good point
this
too
helped.
from Grace fan when he said maybe Riggs hasn't forgiven himself for everything that's going on with Megan.
Oh,
Maybe he
yeah.
hasn't forgiven himself.
Of
That's a
course
good
not.
point.
Well,
Of
because
course not.
because the cheating and all of that, and
Yeah.
this is what happened. So that's got to weigh even more heavily on him because of the infidelity and all that. There was Carmen on there said that we'll probably see Megan in season 27.
I saw
That's
that.
funny.
That was a
I
good
thought
one.
that was funny.
That was a good
Now
one.
we have a comic on here too. It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah. So what about this Bailey going to visit Gray?
Ooh.
Well, she was on her way to a summit meeting at Camp David,
was
and then
cute.
happened to stop by Meredith's
So
house.
what do we think? Do we think that that Meredith's the president because she's going to
I-
Camp David? She's so precious.
At first I was like, oh, Bailey's going to Camp David. Look at her. She's so good. Like, no. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, from the preview from last episode, we were waiting for this,
Right.
this
Yes,
interaction,
definitely.
and I was really fascinated to know that it was because we were all like, how? Because last episode we were like, how does Bailey get to suspend somebody who's on the board? And it's because of bylaws and checks and balances that
Yeah,
she was
said
able
that. Yeah,
to
because-
suspend her. Because we were all like, how do you
How-
just suspend
Yeah.
somebody whose
Pull
name
your
is on the
rank,
She
board?
can't
girl.
pull rank, and
Yeah.
that's it.
I'm glad that they at least addressed that.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
I thought was really good.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but
job.
also just Bailey still sticking to her guns. I didn't
Yeah.
make the wrong choice, and I feel like there's the communication between them. I think was good. She's still like you didn't want to listen to my opinion. You didn't wait for it. You just made up your mind, and that was that. Which I feel was still the same even at this sitting,
Yeah.
where she just really didn't let her voice like the reason why she thought it was wrong. It was just, I think you're wrong, well, I'm not wrong, and that's that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's
So
still
you come
really
back to work,
yeah,
or-
there's
Right.
no real breaking down the communication well. Maybe she just didn't like the way that it went about it, but she gets the idea. They just they didn't really go into it.
Yeah, I felt them going into that situation. I was all on Meredith's side until they started speaking, and I was like, actually, they both
good
have pretty
point.
good points.
Yes.
Um,
And is that a direct quote, Zelani? Let's have coffee together and talk about it like women.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a beautiful quote. Thank
Yeah.
you, Zelani.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which they should.
That was
They
beautiful.
are
Absolutely.
two powerful, successful
Very
women,
beautiful.
and they should talk about it like adults, which
Absolutely.
they did. And it just made me happy. Another point that I'd like to make out is that Bailey said that she made her chief of general to be her right hand person. I mean, Bailey trained Meredith. Like Bailey was chief of general, then made Meredith chief of general, and she gave props to Richard, saying, he built this, but I have to continue building
Yes.
this. And she said that, Richard would have been all for this. And Meredith had to say, you're right.
Right.
Because he would have.
Yes.
I mean, whatever would progress.
Had
the
she had a
students.
conversation with him to tell him,
Right.
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that's where.
But that's what I wanted Meredith to say, or
Yeah.
someone
She kinda
to
did.
say.
She kinda did.
To say, well, you didn't give anyone a chance to do anything. You just kind of did,
Yeah.
which was what the wrong
Pushed
wrong
him out,
thing-
like
right.
just like push Rebecca right out the door,
Right.
without any explanation. And I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. Like that's really where the problem lies. And
Absolutely.
trying to get
Wow.
them to understand that.
But it was interesting to kind of hear how she came about this decision, saying that every step of the way she was making the decision based off of what Richard would do, and ultimately ended up ending Richard's success, which I absolutely agree that he could have, been like, I get it, let me kind of like ease things out. But then the thing that I didn't like, which Meredith didn't like, was, well, Minnick said she wouldn't work with him, so oh well.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, how did you let that?
Right.
There should have been some type of compromise or something,
exactly. 'Cause
or
like
at
you
least a
just-
trial period, so that we could see how
How she
this
would
kid
do,
gets
yeah.
killed and how she handled it and how wrong it was, and just kind of help with that transition.
Right.
Like that's just kind of what
I mean, they had one bad day, and today was a good day. I mean, it was the system worked today.
Yeah.
Like kept I say it was a great system
Yeah,
today.
it was.
Like giving confidence to people who are learning.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so nurturing them, and I strongly believe that Minnick is a little bit more sensitive now. Like I don't, she doesn't seem, this episode she didn't seem as cocky as she has
didn't.
in previous. Because I feel like
she didn't.
that was a tail between her legs a little bit.
Yes.
So even if it didn't get addressed, it's heard.
Yeah.
So
It
she
definitely
definitely
humbled
has had her little tail between her legs.
Yeah,
I
and then
agree.
just
I agree
bouncing
with
around on subjects a little bit. Kelly must be like, "Oh my God, stop!" But that moment that she had with Richard in the OR when he was like, "Oh well, Warren, good job," when they were taking out the kidney, and he was like, "Oh Warren, good job," but you're still doing a procedure that not many residents would do. I mean, residents would do, and then Dr. Minnick had to take a step back and go, "Well, Richard, that's good job on teaching him." Like she's
because the comment that she gave him was just like a seasoned professional,
Right.
which is that's no
inappropriate.
Don't blow
Right,
their
but
head
when
up like
you guys
that.
were not focused on that. We're focused on the last part, which was thank you, Richard, for being such a great teacher. She's trying, you guys. She's trying.
Right, but because of the first comment, I felt like I get it that. I understand that she's trying, but the way that I feel like could have come across to his character was condescending because of her initial thing. She could have said like, "Great job, way over where you are supposed to be in this program." Not like a seasoned professional. Like those words I feel were inappropriate.
Absolutely.
So which then her compliment to him can come off as a little condescending.
Truth.
I
agree with that.
I still disagree with you, Kelly. You didn't with me that way.
But I see her trying though. She was definitely more humble this episode
I
than she
will agree
was.
with that. I definitely think she is trying, and she is trying to still
To
be
the
a
best of
cheerleader.
her behavior, or her skill level, because in order to get to that powerful position, you have to be a little cocky. You have to be cocky and confident.
You do.
And so I think that's all that she's doing to just, that's what we're seeing there. But she had her toe between her
To
legs.
bring it down, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think overall the new style, everyone likes it, and I feel like
Yeah,
it's
they're
working.
coming around to it. Yeah.
It works when it works when it's in that format.
Yeah. And I think when everyone starts to be open to it and they're not rejecting it, and it kind of creates less hostility and then maybe less errors, you know what I mean? Less space for errors. So I think everyone's coming around to it.
Yeah.
Teaching.
And,
So if Gray comes back, I mean, Kepner has to step back down? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Okay.
back April.
But do we think that she's really really coming back? Just because she called Bailey doesn't mean she's coming back.
That's true because they never show the conversation.
No.
And
But
they
wasn't
don't
there
show
a preview
it.
somewhere that was like, I'm going to call a board meeting or something? Didn't we see
Oh,
that?
yes,
That. So I
That's
wonder
why I
if
think
it's going to be...
It might be.
Because she says she can't be like her mom. She has to be better than her mom.
That was a great conversation between her and Weber. Wow.
I'm so glad that you brought
That
that
was
up.
such a great conversation.
Because I love when they give homage to her mother because her mother was,
career first.
Yes, and but also for one of the first women to go so far in her career, with being so what do you call it when somebody's like, they're just talking down on you all the time. They don't think that you're an equal. Oh God, I'm blanking out on words right now. But her and Weber,
we get what you're saying.
When her and Weber came up together, it's because he was black and it's because she was a woman, and that's what was
their connection,
hindering them from becoming amazing surgeons, and they didn't let that stop them. So I always love it when they give Meredith's mom the credit because she was an amazing surgeon, and I miss her character all the time.
And she was a great teacher. She opened the door for so many things, but she also was very much the way Minnick came across in the beginning, where very much patting herself on the back and needing to do everything herself. So I wonder if the program got tailored that way because of the way that she was when she was around, like because she was so hands-on herself and didn't let people get in there and get it. If that's why it was always so hands-off and very little, and like you really had to earn to get your hands in there, which is very different now.
I kind of like the idea of earning it though.
I do
like,
too.
I mean, I feel like everyone, you know, to a certain extent, should have to earn
It's
it.
not like drawing your name out of a hat. Oh, you
Yeah,
get to go do
right.
something.
Yeah,
I mean, these are people.
Yeah, I mean, we all like that idea, but it is a teaching hospital, so what do you have to earn to get taught?
And I have to agree with Richard Gardner there. Yes. Richard, I need a mix of Weber and Minnick teaching skills. I think that would
we saw that last episode, which I thought was great. And if they can figure it out,
like why can't they create a position for Minnick? You know, Weber can still have his role, have his title, and create one
because
for her.
she said no.
Right, and I feel like because of last episode, she will come back, and after Bailey had this conversation with Meredith, just seeing how Meredith was so stick to her guns for Richard, that Bailey will be like, you know what? I think that I need to go back to Minnick and go back with my original offer and say, you know, you could stay, but we'll find a role for you somewhere else, or you know, in the hospital, but you need to learn to work with Richard. And I'm sure at this point now, she will go back and be like, you know what, you're right.
I guess that's what I need. I think Bailey should force her hand into like, well, this is how it's going to be.
Honestly, when she was having that conversation with Arizona, I was kind of hoping that she was going to say, wait, stop, I'm out of here, and not I'm going to kiss you.
Wait, I want to kiss you.
Kelly, you really do not like them.
I like them together.
I like them together too.
No, not about that, but about her like being fired from the hospital. Like that's kind of what I thought. Like because she was like, everybody's got to know how nice you are and how great you are and how friendly you are, blah 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 blah. And she's like, wait, stop.
And then you thought she was going to say, I just got fired?
She was going to say, well, you know, because Meredith calls Bailey, and I was thinking she's going to do that whole, you know, we've got to do something different, and then, you know, Bailey might have backed down.
Like I said, I really don't think Minnick is going anywhere for a while.
Oh, she probably
No, I don't think so. So that's probably why I didn't even think that she got fired, because I was like, she's not going anywhere. So.
She's probably not. But no, I agree with that she does need to back down a bit. She's not always right. She just needs to.
And I don't know this little thing that they have going on with Arizona, you know, still trying to pretend like she's on the side of everyone else, like not liking her and things. Like if you guys are trying to incorporate her into the group and you want people to see how she is, then kind of, you know, speak up for her. Like, oh, well, she's not too bad. Like you have to be the one to break that ice between Minnick and everyone else. Like, well, you know, I'm starting
Arizona
to get to know her. She's not that bad, but
the bridge.
Arizona
she
will
needs
be
to be the
bridge.
Yeah, but like when Weber was there, she's like, oh yeah, she's awful. Like, you know, agreeing. It's like, well, why don't we kind of start easing into that? Like,
well, and I think the best way to do that, and maybe it's just that Minnick doesn't want anyone to know kind of how she reacted to the child dying or whatever. But I think if Arizona kind of explained, like, I felt exactly the same way you did. You guys knew that, and then we had this kind of interaction, and I kind of got to see a different side.
Right.
And she became a little bit more vulnerable, and she's only been kind of fighting for her place a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
That maybe people can kind of like step back a little and understand because they've all done the same thing. So I just feel like the communication is just bad.
Yeah.
And maybe I wouldn't dislike her so much if it was just like if I felt that she was being genuine to everyone.
Yeah.
I don't like how I feel like it's so like fake, and that's the part that I guess I don't like about her character. Because I feel like if she was just real and was like,
I understand
look,
that.
you guys, like I screwed up, I'm sorry, and just kind of talked with them.
Okay, but you can't really say that because in the beginning, when Minnick came in, she was real. She's like, this is how I do it. You're just going to have to deal with it or not.
But there's a difference between,
and then nobody
like,
liked her.
But that's not, to me, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, she was just very matter of fact. To me, that's not being a real person. That's just that's throwing your weight around and being not wanting to be a team player. She's like, I work by myself. You guys do what I say. This is what it's going to be. I'm not asking your permission because I don't have to. Ew. It's not even trying to incorporate yourself into a family. It's just saying, here I am. This is what I do, and you guys just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just the part that's different.
Yeah.
If it could have been this, because there's so many ways to say the same thing.
No, and I completely hear you, but I feel like that was her as a real person. That's who she is. That was her being real, and maybe it was just too real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Could be.
Like, her not doing that would have been fake for her.
Exactly.
But she's not doing that, though, now, and that's how we see the vulnerable side. So I just don't know.
Well, the vulnerable side happened after she lost the kid. Like, she really lost her but maybe, I mean, she came down on us with like espresso, and maybe we needed a little bit more milk in it. That's, you know what I mean? Like, she came hard.
And we just need too strong.
Yeah, it's a little
Too hopped up on power.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just feel like, because there's 100 different ways, like I said, to say something. So it's like you can still be you and say, but you can have a different tone to it, I guess. And I just felt like it was... there's a way, especially when you're coming in somewhere new, and anybody that's ever been to a new job or a new play or anything like that.
But as the leader, like, how do you come in as a brand new leader? Like, you kind of have to slink it a little bit. Like, let people know who you are.
Yes, you do, and you have to assert your authority, but you don't have to be so
aggressive.
I hear what you're saying.
I don't know. I've been in similar situations a lot, especially being young and being in kind of an authoritative position. It's always hard because you do get a lot of flack, and you get people all that. People don't want to listen to you, and I've had to deal with that a lot. But it's just like, I feel like the more you antagonize and the harder, the rougher that you are, the worse it is. Like, not
so
that
you get more bees with honey.
Anything.
You get more bees with
not
like you kissing the ass.
Not at all.
But at the same time, just saying, look, this is what it is, and this is that.
Right.
Like,
but it's just like, I get it. I hear you. Let's communicate. This is what it is. This is how it is. How can we figure this out? There has to be a way.
I understand.
Instead of just being like, it's this or that, and I'm just not. Because Weber was like, oh, this is great. Okay, I don't like it, but now let's work together. And she's like, no, I work on myself.
Yeah. And just changing topics really quick, because a lot of people in our chat are talking about Amelia and Owen right now. How do we feel about that?
I'm so over it.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over Amelia.
I feel like she's like getting closer to Owen, because first she was at Maggie's house. I mean, first she was at Stephanie's house, and now she's like at Meredith's house.
That's really funny.
Soon she'll be at Owen's front door. Like, I feel like she's getting closer to him. But I'm with you guys. I just need her to be a little bit more. I need her to find her Joe power and just go back to Owen and confront this situation, because it's only getting worse with time.
Are they really just waiting for her to have this kid because they don't want to deal with hiding her belly?
Maybe
like in
so.
real life, and they're just letting it like drag out.
Like, I need
What's the worst than Nutella? I was wondering. She's like balled up, you know.
I know Shannon misses that blanket though.
Yeah, that's true. Where's the blanket? But I like how Gray is kind of like the caretaker. Like how everybody came to her bed and like was comforted by her. Maggie got comforted by her. Amelia got comforted. She's very. Meredith is very like loving and doting and a mom, but where's her kids?
Yeah.
But it's so funny to see her character like that
Yeah,
at this
beautiful.
stage. If you've watched the show since the very beginning,
she has grown a lot.
Just grown
tremendously evolved.
and even through her kind of voiceover, it's just like it's more like she's tolerating it and proving to herself that she actually likes it. Yeah. Which is very interesting to kind of see how
she's like a mama bear.
She's
become a mama bear.
Hesitantly, but she's
and I like the way she's standing up for Weber too. Yes. She's just like, well, I'm not going back unless he,
he gets reinstated. Yeah. And I think she should, and I think that because
Amelia is loyalty. So weird.
Sorry. Yeah. And I feel like, Richard has Wait, what?
Amelia is so weird.
I mean, she's been through a lot. Really quick, because I do have to like, stick up for Amelia a little bit. I don't know if you guys watch Private Practice, but that's where she came from.
Yes.
And she went through a lot on Private Practice, you guys. Like, so for her to be where she is, I get why she is the way that she is. Granted, I do feel like it is a little dramatic and a little overdone, but I feel like I can understand what her struggle is.
You have empathy for her.
I do, and it's because I've seen her entire story. You know what I mean?
But it's also, a lot of it was very much self-inflicted, and it continues to be.
What do you mean by self-inflicted, though? Do you mean like the drugs and stuff?
But just kind of like
how she's treating Owen.
How she's kind of like she's
shutting down.
She keeps kind of repeating the shutdown. Even like when she first came on, and she hasn't been able to get off the, like, as in what episode, as Meredith put it, like, get off the merry-go-round.
Yeah, she's on a freight train.
She can't get off yet.
You're completely right.
Which I think is what just gets frustrating, because we haven't seen that character grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in that sense, for herself, like, forget Owen, forget everybody else, just for herself.
Yeah. I'm glad that you pointed that out, because when she got with Owen, I was completely against it, because I was like, you just need to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Because,
like
you said,
I need to heal.
And I think when she ran off, she should have stayed off. Remember, she ran off before the wedding because she was confused. She should have just stayed gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, because I really want Owen to have a baby.
I do too.
Yeah, but that moment in the last moment with her and Maggie and them,
super cute.
we
That
had
was
it
cute.
in the beginning when they used to carpool and stuff like that at the beginning of the season, and then it kind of fell off when she was going through her whatever she was going through with Owen.
Yeah.
But I love when the three of them are together. It just makes me feel all warm and
absolutely.
teary.
But I
Yeah,
think too, and I
same
don't know
here.
if any of you guys caught it, and maybe I just took it wrong because I kind of go into a dark place.
Here we go. Go.
Over the Meredith's like voiceover where she's talking about I don't do reunions and that, you know, people that I don't need, I don't think I'll ever see again, and then you cut to that scene, or you're just, but I understand why people do it, and then you see the three of them, and it's kind of like, you know, I guess I could just get stuck with these people. Like I feel like she's talking about Amelia.
You think she's just doing it to placate them? Like,
No,
placate?
I think that she, like, because her and Amelia have always had such animosity towards each other, and now it's just like, whatever, here she is, because she's going to be a part of my life, and I just have to deal with it. Not so much in a bad way, but just because of how standoffish her character always has been, that it's now she's just like, this is what my life is, and I have to embrace it. And I just thought it was just kind of, like, funny, the way she said it.
Yeah.
It's just
And
like,
at the same time, if we feel like she's on a merry-go-round and we're frustrated, and I'm sure Meredith is too.
Oh,
yes.
So that's probably why
Definitely.
she's like, I'm just over your stuff. Like, get over it.
and Alex is like, get out of my bed, right?
Don't you have a home? Go somewhere. But yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know. Yeah, but
Exactly.
we definitely want to, get some more people from the show on our
Yes,
show to kind of help
we've
us,
got
tell
it,
us, give us some secrets,
Yes,
tell
especially
us
just
why.
Zelani was like, please get Jesse Williams' girl. I follow him on Instagram. I'm like, maybe I can inbox him.
If
and
we
be
got
like,
Jesse
let's
Williams on the
try.
show, all four of us would not be able to talk.
We
because
would
we'd just be
not.
like,
That just be over there,
You
right?
sit, I'll sit right next to him. I'm like, oh, you need company on this couch here. He's married though, but whatever. Isn't that funny how that's the character name that I do know? I'm like, I don't know nobody
you
else.
know his character.
I know his name.
I don't know, but
Yes.
I mean, all in all, I think there's a lot of emotion and stuff going back and forth, and it'll be very interesting to see kind of like what really happens with Meredith, and if she really does come back, or if there's a little bit of push and pull, and she does call this board meeting that I swear I heard on one.
Yes,
preview
we
somewhere.
did. It was a preview about
like if they
3
cut
weeks
it,
ago.
like, oh, we're not gonna
No, it's gonna
go that
happen
route.
because it was. I mean, it's probably later on in the season.
Yeah.
And really
hope
quick,
so.
going back to the abusive dad and the kidney case, was anybody like, how did Joe get into this OR when the dad was like literally about to go under?
Because she was
that
she was there to take his kidney
No,
out.
but like, why didn't like? Okay, no matter who this patient is, like you as a doctor have a responsibility to your patient, and I'm not by any means taking up for the dad, but like. For you to go in there and like curse out a patient before he goes under in surgery, like you should, as a doctor, want to have your patient as calm as
Right.
possible. Like, how did she even get in there without anybody being like, Joe, like
Because I honestly just think that everybody kind of felt the same way.
Yeah.
And just kind of like turned the
They
other
were
way.
just doing what was right for
You're
the
right,
kid
and it
and
was
the mom. but
absolutely wrong to put somebody in that headspace before they
I'm just
go
playing devil's
under.
advocate, you
No,
guys.
for
Yeah.
sure. And that is that's a tough choice that I'm sure doctors
Yeah.
deal with all the time when they get violent
Involved,
people in
Yeah.
and have to save their life. Like
Yeah.
that's gotta suck.
And we don't know, but it could have been one of those moments where, like, okay, I see you, but I don't see you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, you know.
I think that's
so-
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The scrub room is right there.
Right. Exactly. Like,
Because Stephanie was like,
you know.
wait, no. And then that was kind
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
And then it was just like, and then she was all up in his face.
Do we like the fact that they didn't tell the mom that it was him and that it was an anonymous donor?
I actually do.
I do.
Yeah,
too.
I
I really
did too.
did. So she
I
got
feel like
to
the
be
dad is gonna
happy
let her
about
know
it.
though one day.
Yeah, so I was always like, I feel like she's going to find out, but
Yeah, she's gonna
I
have
like
to
that
find out.
because I like those
Enjoy it.
reasons
Yeah.
that Joe gave earlier. Like you're taking that choice away from her, that he gets to come in and save the day. He's taking control of this with everything, like I said before, that he's put them through. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
that's controlling. That's controlling behavior, being abusive and things like that. So
That will
for
save their
those
family
reasons,
though if they find out after the fact, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, and then another reason why I like that they continued to say it was an anonymous donor is because women in abusive situations will find any reason to go back or to stay with their
Yeah,
abuser
that's
true.
because they are so comfortable and because they love them. And I feel like if they had told her that it was him,
She would've felt
she would have been like,
awkward,
"Oh, he has a change of heart. He's a good person now. Like, let me." Go. So that's my reasoning on why I was glad.
And I liked it because she got to at least feel that the decision was still hers.
Yes.
And that he
She
didn't
got her power
control
back
that.
again.
And I absolutely agreed with everything that Joe said when she was making the argument because of the principle, but it does come in, like do we worry about the principal or do we save a life? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And she came up with the perfect solution. You just don't tell them where it came from.
Yep.
Which was great.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked that it went in that place. And I liked how she just got to be happy and appreciative, and they both came out of it well.
Yeah.
And
I got
was
emotional
happy.
at that part too. Like, why
Yeah.
are people so good? And it's like, but
then
He's not.
Yeah.
Well, there's
But
good
I
in
love that
everybody.
you feel
Yeah,
that way right now.
there's
There's
good in
some good in
everybody.
everyone.
Because that was huge for him to say, use my kidney. Because it's
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, he does love his son. Whatever's going on with him and his wife, that's a
Yes,
completely side issue.
That is a good point.
But I mean, there is good in everybody.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
we
the
got to
worst
see the good in
person,
him.
and we got to see the good in them.
And we got to see that what Owen was telling Joe was maybe right. Where he was saying maybe he really is sorry, maybe he does want to do something right. And then we got to see the dad saying that. And I felt that it could have been
I think he
genuine.
did-
when
yes,
he,
I
like
think
what
he was
said.
genuinely,
Doesn't mean he's going to change the way
remorseful,
he is,
yeah.
but I think at
But
that
I think-
moment, the
yeah.
life and death moment, I want to save my son more than I want to be a jerk.
Yes,
So.
exactly.
So that was good. That was good. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
so emotionally draining.
And really
It
quick,
is
just before we move on, because we did shout out the mental health hotlines earlier, and I felt like this episode was just packed of like really
Yes.
like the heavy stuff. If you or anybody you know is suffering from domestic abuse or physical abuse in any kind of way, you can go to thehotline.org and get some resources there as well. Because I mean, yes, mental health is obviously a debilitating disease, and it's very difficult to deal with. But so is abuse, so is physical abuse, because a lot of women and men, don't forget, men get abused as well,
Absolutely,
don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
And there's always, and you know, the thing is, I just don't ever be afraid to ask somebody for
Yes.
help. Like,
Yes.
don't
Yes.
feel embarrassed. Don't be afraid. That's the worst thing you can do for yourself, because there will be someone there to help you somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I really appreciate Sarah, one of our viewers
Yeah.
right now,
Yes.
just coming out
Earlier
and
when
saying,
she
"Hey,
said that.
I'm suffering
Yeah.
from this too." So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
But
That's
I feel like,
great courage.
and you know, it's with mental illness, it's very. I'm not gonna say easy, because I'm definitely not gonna take that away from anybody. But with abuse, it's also this this shame factor as well.
Right.
And it's like you're afraid, like Kelly, you don't want to ask for help, and it's there when you want
Right.
it.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, on the other side of it too, if you notice someone that may be struggling, reach out. See if they do need help.
Sometimes
Don't be afraid to do that.
Literally, sometimes all it takes is to ask them if they want to go out for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally all it takes.
Just like, are you okay? Or how
Yeah.
are you staying? Like, mean it. I think
Yeah.
it's great. And, okay, I totally care that April's alone right now.
She'll get over it.
I do.
She'll be okay.
She'll be
She
all
got
right,
this.
right?
Yeah, she'll be
Yes.
good. Okay.
She
Went
went
to
to
Iraq, you guys. She's
Yeah.
fine.
She can
Let's
handle
all
anything.
Remember, as I say, every time we talk about April, that April got a little selfish there for a long time. And now she's coming out of that and kind of seeing what that is for these other people to be selfish
Yeah.
and not include her. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a little bit of karma coming back. But I
Yeah.
think she's going to be fine. And Jackson's going to get over his tantrum. It'll
Yeah.
all be fine.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not real. He's just taunting her because he's mad. It's like I feel like it's a crybaby tantrum.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is. It is. He'll get
Yeah.
over it soon. But I like it. It's funny for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into predictions.
Yeah.
I was like, where's our
Yes. So ready.
Shannon's ready. She's like, I got it. Let's go.
All right,
Shannon
you
first.
go first.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the following or the next few episodes, Jo is going to get even more empowered than we've ever seen before. She's going to, I love the way she's finally evolving, and it's not, because I was waiting for her to be like, poor me, but she didn't do that at all. And I do know Gray and Riggs are going to get together, because they do
love
belong
it.
together.
Yeah.
And Arizona and Minnick, I see it. I'm so happy for Arizona. Even though we're not the biggest fan of Eliza, I think Arizona just needs some love. So that's my
Yeah.
that's my little
Okay.
sugar, and Karev like doing more operating, more what he's supposed to be doing. He's baby steps, but he's doing it. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
go
I agree with a lot of your points, Shannon. I think that Riggs and Meredith do need to finally get together. I think that this needs to be a thing, because I love them together. I do feel like Jo, Karev, and DeLuca are going to have that love triangle I've been like not pushing it, but hinting on it for the last couple episodes because I do think it's going to happen. But I think that Shannon, what you said about Jo getting her female JoJo back, or Mojo back, is I think she just needs to have some time by herself, and just like Amelia did. But I think Jo's actually going to take it and be like, I don't need men. I don't need Deluca. I don't need Karev. I just want to be for myself. Because clearly, especially after this episode, there's a lot that she needs to deal with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So I'm like I said, I'm on the train now for Rick. So
Yay, we converted you. Yay.
I see that happening, and then I also am like, okay, fine. The little brother sister relationship is still there, where Karev is pushing her towards that. So I like that, and I like to see that grow, where he's gonna still be there for her in a way that's still healthy for both of them. Fine. Also, with what I want to see is Arizona starting to take that next step into getting everyone to start to like Minnick. So that's what I want to see next happen, you know? Like, they're going to get together.
I think that's great.
So now she can kind of break the ice and just be like, she's not that bad.
Yeah.
So Arizona will be the bridge.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for, too. Yeah.
I don't know. What if Weber ends up being the bridge because he doesn't want Meredith to give up her job? So what if he steps up and sacrifices himself for the well-being of his almost daughter?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You know, I think that might be a fun little twist to see. I don't know.
That's
We'll
a good
see.
point.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us as always and being on the live chat. It's so much fun interacting with you guys.
That
Please
live chat, you guys.
love it.
I'm sorry. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
It was such
Thank
a great
you,
live
guys.
chat.
Thank you so much. And make sure to go to iTunes, download our podcast, rate and comment. We love to read all your comments too. And you can always catch it on YouTube. Follow us at AfterBuzz TV, and you can follow me at Kellie with an IE 079.
Follow me at Shannon Bobo everywhere.
Follow me at I am Timothy Mike.
And follow me at Lynneisha_33.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.